come and dig wells if they're a real company.
Is there a map that reflects the comprehensive plan?
Actually, several.
Yeah.
Well, okay, we have the comprehensive plan map, but is there one of these maps that with 4 tiers on it that reflects the comprehensive plan?
You know, that would be tough to say, Commissioner Jordan, because it would be subjective as to your viewpoint. But as I said, we went through several different versions of this map over the summer before we finally got to draft map 4 as being the one that was most acceptable to a ponderance of the Board of County Commissioners.
That's the commissioners, that wasn't the question.
Well, yeah, we started out with draft map 1, which was staff's first attempt to put something together.
Can you throw draft map 1 up?
This is draft map 1.
That's draft map 1.
There were certain issues with this map that we had to go to draft map 2. Mainly, we were showing red areas out in the rural areas where they shouldn't have been shown. So we corrected that, came up with a draft map 2, which is what Steve has projected on the screens there now. We went through various discussions over the summer with work sessions with the Board of County Commissioners. And again, I emphasize that this was a starting point by staff just to get the discussion moving ahead so that knowing we had timelines to meet, we had to.
But in the staff's opinion, being experts, probably the county experts, by the way, the staff, that most aligns with, I'll let you speak, most aligns with the comprehensive plan.
We felt that this map, in our reading of Senate Bill 236, was our best effort to show where the tiers should be.
Okay.
Again, it was a starting point. We realized that would change as we went through the discussions, and by all means, that we think that this would be the final version. We felt that we needed to establish a point, to get the discussion started, to get the process moving forward. We had deadlines to meet, so we had to come up with something, and this was it.
So Diana, if you want to talk about how it evolved from that to whatever map 4 is.
I appreciate that they wanted more tier 3 area, but my concern is that the people that are left in tier 4, that they would argue they would want to be in tier 3 as well. And what criteria did you use to pull them out of tier 4? So what I proposed was that during this review process, that the public come and give us policies that would remove them from tier 3 or tier 4 that would be consistent across the board that we could have followed. That would be fair. From what I asked Eric, why were those areas taken out of tier 4? And he had said it was areas that they felt were already compromised by development. And I think that argument could be made in other areas as well.
That's correct. So, I mean, one proposal, so that helps, but making everything tier 4 doesn't help. It makes it worse.
No, we're definitely a lot better than what the state is going to propose, but I still encourage the public, come to us with policies of how we can make tier 4 less a percentage and tier 3 more.
And then let the comprehensive plan dominate density and everything else, right? I mean, one proposal would be make it all tier 3, and let the comprehensive plan dictate our own land use.
They're not going to go for that.
I know. It would maximize our own control and then make them tell us they won't go for it.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
Make them not go for it.
right, we want to, I mean, we have to preserve the land, the ag protection, we have to preserve, we have to abide by a whole lot of restrictions already that we have to do and we should do. And we don't want max density built out in areas that we don't want to build out. I get it all, but man, if you make it all tier 4, Diana, it just makes it worse because it's one big happy calculation. So the more, well, but what was proposed is more tier 4 versus what's up there on the screen.
Like I said, you have to be careful of what you keep in and take out. There needs to be a policy that's applied across the board.
That's correct.
Because property rights will be championed.
But I'm still not clear though, why would you go to more tier 4 as a result of what you just said and not less?
Because the way that the map 4 is reflected is consistent with the guidelines that they gave us.
Not
Now-
4.
Yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the conservation area, it's the priority preservation areas, maybe we could justify that being a tier 3, that wouldn't be an area that we would necessarily seek priority preservation area. A problem too that we've encountered is that they said our PPA areas were just certified. When we got recertified as a county, as a mount district, that's when our PPAs were certified in the 3 major blocks.
Right. By the way, this whole thing, just any TDR hopes we ever had are just gone. Because if you can't have development, you have no rights, therefore you can't sell your development rights, but that's all.
No, that's not true.
Well,
We've
that's true.
we've asked that of the state, and, I mean, that's why I was saying, why not be more aggressive in getting more of the tier 2 into tier 1? That the densities are gonna be transferred to those areas, and to earn those densities, you'd have to purchase the TDRs, which the densities have been grandfathered in those areas.
Okay, well, purchase it from people who have no development rights if this were to go out, but, that would be a whole separate system. That's a secondary issue though. You have a question? You have a comment or question? No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Now, I'm curious as to where we go from here.
The way that the process is laid out is the planning commission, the Board of County Commissioners would like the planning commission to forward comments that you have on draft map 4 that they can take into account as part of their public hearing process on September 4th. And I'm sure, as I mentioned earlier, I'm sure they'll be receiving other comments, both verbal and written, on this, and that they will use those comments to ultimately decide what they want to send down to the state.
So my first comment would be, why are we being asked after there is a draft map for?
That's, I already asked that, and we are not. The whole process isn't good. We're here as a planning and zoning commission, we haven't been asked to help plan and zone, so. Staff was asked, this commission was not, until this was put on the agenda after the fact. Yeah, what is our question was, does Article 66B have something to say about all this? But,
no.
This is on for 9 years.
Yeah, and perhaps it was an oversight on the legislature's part, I'm not sure, but the only mention that Senate Bill 236 gives to the planning commissions throughout the state, that it says that if comments are received by the state on the map, the public hearing has to be held by either the local legislative body or the planning commission on those comments. And it also states that in tier 3, that if a major subdivision is proposed, that you have to recommend approval of that major subdivision. But other than that, it does not require Board of County Commission to consult the planning commission prior to any action that they take in regard to this bill. However, we the Board of County Commissioners, as well as staff, wanted you to be involved in the process, and that's why this draft map is before you this afternoon for your general discussion and comment.
So I think, I said it before, and it's probably on, I'm sure it's on the record, it's kind of inspired, so let's see if I can do it again. For us, this commission, our recommendation is to propose the tiering maps to be lockstep aligned with our comprehensive plan as best you can determine, and allow that to be a discussion for public debate. To protect and preserve our right to enact our comprehensive plan as designed through multiple processes with dozens and dozens and dozens of citizens, validated by elected officials multiple times. So the map that I think the public needs to hear is the tiering as best the staff can determine that aligns with our comprehensive plan to allow for the densities where we want them, and then be the least restrictive humanly possible, and make the state come back and tell us we're wrong, and then we can fight that. That's our recommendation. Is that?
Absolutely.
Is there any way to make a motion to that effect?
Sure.
Then I would make it my motion. as
Yes.
presented.
I second.
Do we all agree with that? Yes? Everyone say yes or no? Yes?
Yes.
Again, good. So unanimously agreed we make the tiering maps align with the comprehensive plan as it relates to our ability to enact the comprehensive plan from a density and zoning standpoint. And that's just, you can't be more simple than that, and that's a matter of judgment.
No, I think that's fair.
And protect and preserve our own right for our own land that we bought, paid for, with certain preconceptions as to what we can do with that land. We have to, I'm close. But so I don't know what else to say.
Mr. Chairman, just for the record, we did receive comments on this issue prior to this meeting, which I made copies for each of the members. I just wanted the record to reflect that we did distribute that to you. They were comments from the Bainbridge Development Corporation, Mr. and Mrs. Davis, and from Bill Stevens concerning this issue. So you have copies of their written comments that were submitted.
Yeah, so I think these would be more of a for protocol standpoint, since we're not taking public comment, to be for the sessions for public comment. More discussion, less discussion, where are we going? I think I feel heard. We're lockstep in our alignment as a planning and zoning commission with what we want, right? Everybody okay? So there's our recommendation. So I guess maybe my last daytime act as chairman is to ask the staff to what they would believe is the most representative map. And if the commissioner's map 4 should also be compared to that, that's fine. But let's have the public see what you all recommend versus what map 4 is versus, I guess, what the state probably would do with map 6 if we did not have.
And it may not be what you all recommend, but it is what we recommend as a planning commission, that we lockstep with the comprehensive plan. So when you create that map, you're creating it in deference to our request that you create.
That's right.
So you would like us to create a map to go along with your recommendation to be presented to the Board of County Commissioners?
Yes.
On September 4th.
That's right. And I also would recommend that the public see that map in addition to whatever else the commissioners want to.
Exactly. I mean, if there's gonna be this one and that one, that's fine, but make sure that the one we're talking about is there.
If we want comment, let's get it all on the table.
I think you have to be careful that the whole board would see this before it was presented.
I'll stay on another one. Yeah, I think if we want to create a special working session to view that, then that's what we should do. That's fine. I agree with you, Diane. If staff wants to come back and we want to come back next week in a working session, whatever we have to do to get public notice, was it 2 weeks?
Yes.
2 weeks. So do you want to plan on something in 2 weeks?
I'm sure that falls in relation to this.
They would have a calendar.
Well, 2 weeks running up to it. Yes.
Down here. 2 weeks would be September 3rd.
Yeah, as far as the 2-week advertising advance, we're not going to make it for the September 4th meeting with the next calendar. However, as an alternative, perhaps we can send something out that you guys can look at, that's all we send you comments back individually to us.
Thank you.
Let everybody know what your comments may or may not have been.
All right, yeah, the staff is going to recommend a map at my request. Map 4 was what the commissioners have already proposed, and it's likely those two will be different. We will send that out via email to the commissioners and to the commission and staff for comment and input. All that will be incorporated into the next public hearing, whenever that, that schedule is. Is that fair? Is that what we're going to?
My concern is, what the definition is that the state gives.
assuming that's the answer, but I don't know that. I didn't.
That's what it's gonna look like now, if you go with that, but that's what I'm saying, we need to come up with policies that we can apply throughout.
I'm gonna have to defer to what the staff thinks. I want the least restrictive allowable, so that it preserves our own ability to govern ourselves per our own comprehensive plan.
We all want that.
Right.
It's how we get there, it's the
Right.
big question.
You gotta start someplace.
Map 4, yeah, and I would say, and make the state tell us we're wrong, best I figure, if we really believe in what we're proposing.
I'm just saying, the guidance that you gave planning commission, it's probably gonna look like map 4.
Well, they came up with map 1, 2, and 3.
But they've already clarified how they do that. And you've given them direction, to make it look like a comprehensive plan.
Right.
Yeah, but they didn't say that map 1, 2, and 3 aren't closer to the comprehensive plan than map 4.
Actually, yes, they almost has to.
They almost have to be, that's exactly right.
The thing that concerns me about the tier 4 assumption, I mean, if you go to map 6, literally 75% of the county is tier 4. It's just stops everything, and you
You'll never get it.
property owners give up or take it, the right to develop their property is taken from them by, and that's not even what people think they're voting.
And what we took out were subdivisions that were already approved, those are the yellow areas. And, what else was there? Our zone parcels,
And parcels like final preliminary approvals already, so I have not been approved.
parcels that had preliminary and final
Subdivision approval,
subdivision approval.
but have not yet been enforced.
Oh, but have not yet been enforced, thank you very much. Those were policies that we incorporated into the map 4. Doesn't say there aren't any other policies that we, you see where I'm going?
I understand, I mean, I believe these are the knowledge experts in the county that can best interpret this to protect people's rights to the properties. And Diane, I don't know what else to tell you.
We're the ones that have to answer to the public, and when we justify the map by saying they're the knowledge experts, that's our answer.
No.
I'd rather have real criteria as to why, and maybe they will come up with some policies that we can, share with the public.
So-
And that's what I'm encouraging them to do.
Okay, so part of the expectation then is for documentation of their real criteria by which
Yes.
they designate tier 1 through 4.
Very good.
Thanks.
Is there such criteria for map 4?
Yes.
That's which, in Diana's opinion, that's what most closely aligns with the state's asking.
Yes.
And that may be true, but we can propose what we can propose. So your criteria for 1, 2, 3, and 4, when you propose the map that most aligns with the comprehensive plan would be helpful, because that's right, and the public has to know what we're commenting on, right? Yes. Fair enough. I mean, it's a hard job. This whole thing is just amazing to me. Any other?
Mayor got to voice his personal opinion, which does not reflect that of the board of commissioners of the county government.
You're on.
In my view, what is behind this and throughout the process, the sidebar interviews and conversations, the governor continually referred to the Baltimore-Washington mega region, which is synonymous with the big 4 counties in terms of who has votes. So I don't think they really want to give up any of their power. And any growth that is outside that Baltimore-Washington mega region is somehow termed dumb growth. And unfortunately, any opposition to this is going to be characterized as support for dumb growth. But I think that everybody needs to recognize that our comprehensive plan is, in my opinion, is the embodiment of smart growth. And I think what I've heard today is from the planning commission that the degree to which SB 236 and tiers support the comprehensive plan and that version of smart growth, it is to be applauded. So the degree to which it undergirds our comprehensive plan, we support it. But to the degree that it undermines our comprehensive plan, we don't.
Correct.
Correct.
Quick question. There obviously are other counties in those four that you referred to. Have we had any communication with counties, other counties in Maryland that are similar to ours?
I'll talk first and I'll let Eric answer, but we've talked to some of those at the NACO meetings and planning directors roundtable meetings. And some of the counties, quite frankly, apparently don't believe in smart growth. So I found myself in a strange situation in opposition to this, but in opposition for very different reasons. But there is, we've got 23 counties in Baltimore City, and except for the big four, I think it's fair to say that they're kind of all over the map. But we, particularly on the Eastern Shore, are in a unique situation. We are not this bucolic Eastern Shore county. We are not Kent County. We have I-95 and the Amtrak Northeast Corridor going right through the county. So we're different, but I'll let Eric talk to
I don't want to talk.
You don't
Yeah.
what
you don't have to, you don't want to.
All right, we have a tape recorder and a camera, Eric. Come on. What are you gonna say?
The short answer to the question is that most of counties in western Maryland, as well as the counties on the Eastern Shore, are opposed to these initiatives, not only this, but also the Plan Maryland dictates, are extremely troubled by them and see the same issues we see with it, that it's an unnecessary intrusion into their local powers that have been delegated to them, and they have been vociferous in their opposition to it, and strenuous in their objection to it, and so far to no avail, and they just feel like they're being steamrolled at this point. That's the simplest way to summarize the comments I've heard.
Yeah, we had at our NACO convention this past weekend, many discussions on how do we get better representation among the rural counties. And we did join the Rural County Coalition. I think there's 5 counties, and anticipate that there's going to be 8 counties, 3 other ones that will be joining. But I did speak up and say, no, I don't think it's a matter of communication. I think there's a clear pattern here of the state constantly usurping our authority. So what do we do about it? We just keep the conversation going. We do what we can. Pretty much our hands are tied.
Propose what we think is best and make them fight us.
Right. One final comment to Eric is that I looked into some of the other counties, and to be honest with you, none of them I don't think has done as good a job as we have with our comprehensive plan. So they're kind of willy-nilly around and the state telling them what to do. We have a good plan, stick to it, and see what happens. This ends this item. I like to bring up one other item, a little different. I wasn't designated to do this, and Pat certainly is vice chair can step in and make some comments, but I'd like to thank Phil Morton. This is his last meeting. He's been chair and he's been on this board for 9 years. I think he's done a great job, and I hate to see him go.
Thank you. By the way, Cheryl, if you do put my name in the paper, it's Bill. You've been saying William for 9 years. Thank you, guys. I absolutely enjoyed it. See you tonight. This meeting's adjourned.